All right, guys, here's the deal. Coffee has been lying to you. It promises you energy, but it leaves you jittery, crashing, and wondering why you're staring at your ceiling at midnight. This is where Mudwater comes in. It's a coffee alternative. It's smooth, steady, and packed with all the good stuff. Cacao, chai, lion's mane, chaga, reishi, turmeric, and cinnamon. You want a metaphor? It's like coffee went on a yoga retreat and came back chill and ditched the caffeine chaos. I've been there. Groggy mornings, brain fog, 3 p.m. slumps. But Mudwater flipped the script. It gives you clean energy without the crash. Plus no sugar, no junk. Just clean, natural ingredients, guys, that work. Put a scoop in a cup, mix it around with some water, you're good to go. And here's the deal. My listeners get free shipping, a free rechargeable frother, and I'm going to help you save up to 43%. Head to Mudwater, MUDWTR.com. Use my code Chael, and you can say goodbye to caffeine jitters forever. Because life's too short for bad coffee decisions. And remember, if you don't change something this year, it's not a new year, it's just another year. I want you to have a new year and a better you. Go to Mudwater. Use my promo code. You're welcome. I got a call yesterday. Rather big media opportunity, by the way. This is Barstool. Barstool Sports calls. And they can't reach Strickland. I mean, that was a large piece of it. Hey, we're having a hard time getting hold of Sean. And so they started asking me questions. And it was a very interesting breakdown I felt that I had with Barstool because I don't know a lot about this fight. This fight's a strange one. Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland 14 months ago was not on any of your minds. 2 years ago could have never been booked. 12 months and 2 weeks ago when it was signed was not blockbuster business. It at no point on that journey was the bride. At best, it was the maids and more like one of the groom's girls. It was supposed to be Chimaev. It was supposed to be Chimaev versus Strickland. Chimaev comes up with a broken hand. Kamaru Usman would have taken the fight, but he had just lost to Chimaev in this controversial one, so let's keep Kamaru in mind, but move him over here, because who we really want is Israel Adesanya, who it turns out doesn't want the match. Dricus Du Plessis, can you get on a plane to Canada? I mean, that's how that story went. And I'm being a little bit dismissive, but only a little bit. That is exactly the order of the events. So I watched the fight. And I got to tell you, as a biased person for Sean Strickland, I was not sure there was a round there that Sean won. But I remember that at the time. When the whole thing was done, I wasn't sure whose hand they were going to raise. And I knew full well it could be Sean's. But I knew full well there's a chance Sean did not win a single round. Do you know what I mean? Can you relate to that? Like, I watched all 5 rounds, and there was not one of them that I go, boom, that's Sean's round. But for all 5 rounds, even though they were close and I wasn't sure, I could see a case in all 5 rounds for Dricus winning it. So when the whole thing's done and the judges are split, I'm going, man, this was a little bit different fight than the one that I saw. And then to see how upset Sean was about it, to see how many of you thought it was garbage, I just remember that. I remember that feeling. I remember where I was. And I remember thinking, I better rewatch that. That's not what I saw. Okay. Now, I tell you all of that because I believe Dricus is sharper today than he was then. I believe Dricus to be one of these guys who tastes success and doesn't say, all right, I'm full. All right, I'm satisfied. He tastes success, and that's a springboard and motivation to get him more success. I believe that the Dricus that we just saw fight Izzy is a better fighter than the Dricus that won the world title. I believe that to be true. I believe he's one of these guys. But I know whatever Dricus thinks he's getting ready to compete with And he will think that he knows this guy. He's already been in there with him. He's watched him. He's studied him. He's got common opponents. He thinks he knows him. And I'm just sharing for you, that's not who he's going to face. There is a very different Sean Strickland today than there was 12 months, 2 weeks ago, than there was 18 months ago, than there was 2 years ago. It's a very different Sean Strickland. I have only seen a guy one time go crazier losing a fight, and it was Mark Coleman. Mark Coleman, when he lost to Maurice Smith, you couldn't reason with him. He could not think of anything in his life more than he'd be driving in his car and all he's thinking about is getting back in there with Maurice or somebody else, getting back in there, getting a victory. Like it was one of these deals that got replaced when I saw the way Sean Strickland acted. Sean Strickland very much is what you see. Like when there was a Sean Strickland that said once upon a time, I don't care about the championship, he was telling the truth. When he said that the only thing for the championship that matters to me or my family is it comes with a little bit more money, he was telling the truth. When he said, I don't care if when I fight this thing is up or not, and then he throws it back on the table, he wasn't even one of these guys. You have no picture anywhere of Sean wearing the belt. Aside from the night they hooked it around his waist, he has likely never worn the belt. Like a guy that says, this is not what it's about for me. It was very sincere coming from Sean until he lost it. And that's when everything changed. The way that Sean saw the world, or the way he saw the world of MMA, or the way he saw his own career and what he's going to do and what he's going to get done and what he's going to achieve before the final credit rolls, it all changed. And I don't know what part of it got him. I know what got Mark Coleman. I remember seeing that happen, and it was just the surprise. It was the loss of the identity. It was the hammer and the unbeatable, and he'd been beaten, and he wanted that allure back. And I would know the power and the mystique of that, but it was something more with Sean. And I don't know if it was Dricus, if it was personal. When we saw them get in that street fight, I don't know if it was and that spilled over. I don't know what part of Sean believing he got the raw end of a decision weighs into this, but that is part of it. Like one thing to lose a fight or to lose your belt, to lose it in a manner where you feel you should have just won it and it goes to somebody else. Like there was some piece of that drove and disgusted and frustrated and motivated Sean. I don't know that I could tell you for sure what that was. Right? Of the pie, what percentage? But I was very confident when I told Barstool, I said, the guy that Dricus thinks he's getting ready to face, that guy's not here. That guy doesn't exist. A guy that's out there and he's willing to do you while I wait in the meanwhile for the rightful number one contender, which was Chimaev, or a rematch that I know I'm going to have to do against Izzy. I guess I'll compete with you because you're here. Like, that guy is not the one that Dricus is going to get in there with. This is one of the more confusing fights to call. It really is very unpredictable. And if you go and watch, say, let's just use five Dricus Du Plessis fights, and you see the level of striking he has and the level of kickboxing he has, you come away and go, hey, that wrestler's got pretty good striking. That's what you come away with. You don't come away going, whoa, what a sharp striker. You go, hey, that wrestler's got pretty good striking. And if you watch Sean Strickland, you watch him and go, man, he's pretty technical for a street fighter. For being a brawler, which is what Strickland is, he's pretty technical. He goes by the numbers. He gets in and he'll give you a knee and an elbow and a punch. They're very unassuming guys. But for you to come to the assumption that they're going to contest this on their feet for 25 minutes is very wise. Taking Sean down is super hard to do. Holding Dricus down is equally hard to do. And it just starts to become a wash. And then when you factor in motivation and you factor in anger, which is a piece of the story, and so many people will tell you in MMA, you've got to control your emotions. It's a nice thing to say, but then you have reality. People tell you it shouldn't be personal. What could possibly be more personal than a fight? And you got to factor those things in. And I will stand by it. I will stand by what I told him at Barstool, and I will tell it to you guys now. But the guy that's showing up to fight Dricus is not the guy that showed up the first time to fight Dricus.